So shortly we'll get some live shots for you of how busy that grid is down there, and lots of excited kids. Johnny Contract being one of them. Ado just popped his head in before from Bloke's World. Very, very tight. That's actually here we go, live pictures right now. That last corner just there where we saw that little white trailer is the timing caravan. That's where you lock in your lap. It's extremely important that you see that bit. I love this bit. These little tackers. Let's see how many are in the zone where they're just okay and throwing the shuckers. And
I think it's normally when the bike's fired up, that's when it starts to really set in. That natural energy starts to really show its course. A couple of kids pretty...
There you go.
G'd up. Begbie on bike 35. I've seen that name plenty throughout the last couple of years of Hattah.
Very laid back. Anytime you see them throwing it down, you know that they're as relaxed as they can be. Not too many parents throwing the shuckers at this point.
No, I think there's a little bit more nerves behind them more than anything.
It's so important to get a good start in any form of motorsport, but in desert racing as well, you want some smooth track and you don't want too much dust. That's another thing that can factor into this.
Yeah, and then lap traffic late in the race as well becomes a pretty divisive factor. This is pretty long and wide open, this track, but when it tightens up through the mallee trees, the mallee stumps, it gets very tough to make passes happen. So that is super critical to buy yourself a little bit of space at the front if that's where you're running, so you can actually have time to make those decisions with lap traffic if that becomes a factor, which particularly tomorrow in the senior events is a major factor. In our juniors this morning as well, that will definitely become a chance. So looking at the front row, of course there'll be multiple lanes tomorrow. Well over 100 riders per lane of the starting gates.
Time last year for this event was 1 hour 13:35. Ages 7 to under 13 years. Junior small wheels winner was Levi Rossi, and we saw Levi in the big wheel class earlier on.
It's really pretty similar conditions to last year as well. You'd expect times to be thereabouts the same. Nothing too spectacular to speak of in terms of the weather or the track conditions.
So we'll roll through our lineup that you're going to see in this one for Mallee Motorcycle, 65cc to 7 to under 9 years. Levi Campbell, Levi Begbie you just saw before. Freddie Malloy, Nash Lamb, Riley Robertson, Ted Smith, Max Legary, Jack Van Hooft, Lincoln Mays, Nate Circa, Dylan Poole, Jack DeWent, and Declan Thine. That's your first page.
And then 65s, 9 to under 13s, well backed by Mototech, Thomas Hathaway, Dean Henry, Mason Ezegales, Harrison Hood, Harry Clark, Bodie Austin, Archie Black, Reese Thompson, Max Morley, Harrison Davey, Chad Warland, Elijah Newton, Nikolai Marchant, Blaine Challen, Ollie Kale, Jack Rust, Travis Donahue, Joshua Gluth, Seth Brooks, Lachlan Devlin, Cruz Ebden, Mitchell Horwood, William Mikulak, Chase Maul Dunn, Rolly Lister, Cooper McCulley, Ollie Bramble, Carter Branford, Brody Brown, Will McGinty. That's most of your riders for 65s, 9 to under 13s.
Pretty sure
Mototech.
Pretty sure Carter Branford is Ryan Branford's son out of the Alice side of things. Got STE Racing on board as well. The girls 7 to under 12s, GBM and Miller Quarries bringing you them. Sophie Midling on the 5 bike, Asher Wilson on the 52, Nova Pilkington aboard the 100 Yamaha, Priya Kinsella and Stella Harding. You go over to 100 to 150cc two-stroke, 13 to under 16 years. Ronco Motors sponsored. Archie Salapayevs, Mitch Ford, Anthony Weeks, Jesse Diffie, Hugh Stone, Liam Egan, Ryan Couch, Thomas Gotts, Xander Goyka, Brady Cork, Reed Chapman, Riley Tongue, Landon Robertson, Jack Montgomery, Chase Glover, Hamish Crompton, Cameron Pappen, Callum French, Mitch House, Kai Austin, Lewis Hewitt, and Jackson Fitzgerald.
Back over the page, also 100 to 150cc two-stroke, that 13 to under 16, backed by Ronco Motors. Malachi Middleton, Thomas Devlin, Valerian Bunda, Darcy Hines, Toby Garwood, Xander Brown, Cooper Edwards, Lockie Roche, Jake Grace, Judd Long, Chad Woodbury, Harry Clark, Braith Goody, Slater Goody, Tom Duncan, Henry Jack, Kingston Cox, Hayden Detling, Jason Kirkbride, Sid O'Brien, Trip Smith, Tom Mitchell, Clancy Gelbert, Toby Waters, Luke Welsh, Kane Wilson, Jack Penny, Safin Clark, Caleb Harris, and Asher Murphy make up that 100 to 150cc two-stroke, 13 to under 16, sponsored by Ronco Motors.
85cc two-stroke and 150cc four-stroke, small wheel only, 9 to under 12, so KW Earth Moving and Concrete. Finn Mellerick, Lockie McPherson, Ambrose Fraser, Riley Hood, Travis Canning, Angus Summers, Hutto Wilson, Nash Zamet Harvey, Felix Burgess, Charlie Fox Ashwin, William Rickus, Riley Mullen, Lachlan Sweeney, Ollie Peach, Nate Hargraves, Jack Renfrey, and Chili Rutherford. It's a good name for this morning.
Not bad at all.
Your then next page is Zach Kellett, Ryder Plum, Hamish Finch, Benji Hagi, Zach Mays, Mitchell Carter, Zane O'Connor, Brax Pollard, Bailey Poole, Felix Brooker, Eliza Dennis, Hugo Kinsey, Banjo Watt, Caleb Gurry, Bodie Bennett, Tate Williams, Ryder Stafford, Cohen Gammon, Cruz Cowan, Brax Bunsma, Jed Hitchcock, and Zach Wilkinson, I should say.
Continuing on, 85cc two-stroke and 150cc four-stroke. That's small wheel only, 9 to under 12s, backed by KW Earth Moving and Concrete, Kobe Munro, Will Munro, Charlie Kirk, Parker Gibson, Benji Brown, Jonathan Moon, Van Nooshaffer, Ryder Lambing, Finn Westbrook, Riley Boyle, Bentley Clark, Chase Bamford, Seth Hutton, and Mitchell Thompson. And that will wrap up all of your small wheels field. On the line, looking at the first of our starters. Still got the vest on.
Yeah, got to stay warm. 265 on screen right there.
Here's Eliza Dennis on the gas.
Eliza got the thumbs up. Eliza was quick before as well. Yeah, she's pumping. She's like, let's get this done. There's Berserk Kirk on the 647. He gives us the thumbs up as well. They're so relaxed, aren't they? If they're not giving away much. Burjo, just down there on board the 80 bike. Some kind of nervous smiles.
There's a few that are fairly reserved.
GBM Bobcat driver. I think you know who you are. The GBM Bobcat driver. Can I have you to the Bobcat, please? Thank you. Ladies and gents, we're about to get underway with the proceedings for the race. No one's starting engine yet, all right? couple of bits I want to tidy up. First things first, all right? Parents, the moment that we get to the stage where we're ready to start, which is straight after we finish the national anthem, that's your cue to vacate this pit area, or rather the start area. All I want in here after we finish that national anthem is the bikes, the competitors and the officials. That's it. No one to the back, everyone to the front. Now this gate here next to the Penrite area, that'll open up and that'll give you an opportunity for all the parents to vacate out. All right? That's really important. So we want to make sure that everyone's clear other than bikes, competitors and officials. That's all I want in this area. Very shortly we'll be having our national anthem with Olivia, and she comes down and does an amazing job for us. But prior to that, I have something pretty important I want to go through. So recently we lost one of our very instrumental members within the club, and this guy was so driven by what Hattah was about, it was his life. Colin Woodbury was an amazing guy, a great club member, and somebody who took this event from being a club-style event to the next level. He was an amazing operator, a guy who invested everything that he had into what was going on in this place, and more importantly, he was a bloody good guy. Today, I ask you all to take a moment's silence
To remember our mate, Colin Woodbury, and all that he did for all of us, and inadvertently for all of you. Can I please ask you to remove your hats for a moment's silence?
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are one and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Round of applause for Olivia. Well, that's the final call for all of the parents and crew members to vacate the area. And I do thank you in advance for making sure that you follow those rules for us. Well, ladies and gents, we are about to get away.
All of a sudden, that peaceful Hattah morning air has been shattered.
It's long gone.
This is going to be cool. First race of the day, first race of the weekend. Happy Hattah, everyone. A bunch of combined classes for small wheel. This is the pointy end of the field down here, Liam.
No doubt about that. Your pole sitter first in this race, Eliza Dennis. Out of that strong Hattah Desert Racing family, the Dennises. Long-time factors, particularly in this junior program. Previous winners are now a little sis, Eliza Dennis.
On the Honda Froth. Look at it, just banging a helmet. Let's go, let's go. How good is this? Great moments, wonderful shots here from Hattah. Liam Ornger, it's going to be a tremendous weekend. Eliza's good to go. She's like, let's do this. And we are off. Time to launch. What a shot that is. Good morning, Hattah. All the rest of it was fun, but now it's time to make some noise, Liam.
Absolutely. 6 laps, 15 kilometres per lap. And it's going to take a couple of minutes to get the whole field launched. The way this all works, so they will time in. A couple of gaps will start to form, particularly when we drop back to that next row of riders. Stacked in deep. This is junior small wheels. They'll race for 90 kilometres, thereabouts to an hour and 15 minutes we should be expecting.
Good to have our monitors back on right now as we are into the first lap of small wheel competition. Eliza Dennis was our number 1 qualifier from Prologue. You can see now the spectator access allows folks to meander across into the various spectating areas, and we'll endeavour to pick up as much of this 15k lap as we possibly can for you and identify who is where in our field. Enormous bunch of riders across the GBM, Miller Quarries, Ronkomotos, KW Earth Moving and Concrete, sponsored field, Mototech as well, Mally Motorcycles involved as well. Beautiful shots of the lake here at Hattah. Just what a tremendous view we've got. It's a beautiful part of the world, even if you're out on a motorcycle and doing it with a degree of intensity compared to everyone else that just settle back in. And although a lot of the families, it's not a relaxing experience, they watch for their kids and have to wait for that first lap before they come back into view. You can see already we're spread right out. Small wheels race, big wheels race to come up after that. Then we'll get into senior look laps and prologues to come as well. So we'll endeavour to get some race monitor timing up for you shortly as well. Just waiting on race monitor to kick back in and give us our data feed. But you can just see how vast this junior track is. So we get a bit of elevation with Tex. You can see already the amount of grooves. Anytime you're ready, Matty, love to have you drop by a bit later on for sure. Brett Metcalf is here, one of the ambassadors for Penrite, an Aussie motocross legend, and it'd be great to have a chat with Brett a bit later on for sure, as the kids get after it on small wheel. So as soon as I can get you some information on timing, we'll endeavour to let you know that as soon as we can as to who is where and get you some live action shots. Great to have you company wherever you tuned in from. I'm sure the coffee van's getting a hammering this morning here at the track. Looks like we're coming back to the business end. And we can start getting some timing in for you. Race monitor, here is your first lap. Didn't take long to
No, not at all.
get ripping. Riley Mullen. Nice job from Riley Mullen. Elijah Dennis in that second spot. Now, this is where it is absolutely brutal on the coming into the pit area. Liam,
Yeah, the
remember
slow
this?
down speed.
They have to go very, very slow.
Charlie Kirk.
They get
home at
penalised
third.
if they don't.
Felix Burgess, Ryder Lambing, Nate Hargraves, first of the 6 to complete their first lap. And you'll see the teams jump out to grab them. Now, you wouldn't expect too much of a pit stop here on first lap, but indeed second and third and after that. So you'll see we're about to say programmed to have an actual stop or where they'll just roll right through. And it wouldn't be a race if you weren't trying to close in as much distance as you can in your slow lap here through the pits. And then maintain fairly well that distance to Riley Mullen has Eliza Dennis.
Yeah, got to be very, very careful here. Very sensitive to your speed in the pit area. Banjo Watt in 11th. Brax Pollard 12th. Angus Summers. Zach Mays. So it's Riley Mullen, Eliza Dennis, Charlie Kirk, Felix Burgess, Ryder Lambing, Nate Hargrave, Stella Harding, Kobe Munro, Ollie Peach, Bodie Bennett back in 15th, Finn Westbrook. And we ride on board with Tex and the boys. Just must be just agonisingly slow when you come into the pits like that.
Incredibly.
I mean, you know, for those that are struggling with fitness, and that's not a case with most of these kids anyway, it's a chance to have a little bit of a breather, but it must feel like you're just crawling. Now, back underway. Back out into the desert. Boy, it's a really good matchup here. So, Elijah trying to come back at your leader. Riley Mullen, Elijah Dennis, Charlie Kirk, Felix Burgess and Ryder Lambing, your top 5. And Liam, there's nothing in it between these two.
No, by all means. And have a look at the ruts in that section alone. For these small wheel bikes that do not get through that section as well as the big wheels do, and much longer suspension travel. Now, Riley Mullen will look to put a bit of distance back to Eliza Dennis and Charlie Kirk, but that 3 are well and truly locked together, and that's going to be an exciting watch. So, top 10 in on them. Banjo Watt at 11th. Benji Brown, Hugo Kinsey, Jack Renfrey, Archie Black, Elijah Newton, Zach Kellett, Ollie Kale, Hamish Finch, Bodie Austin, Bentley Clark, Max Morley, Nikolai Marchant, Cruz Ebden, Felix Brooker, Cohen Gammon, Tate Williams, Ollie Bromble. And on to Bailey Poole, Seth Brooks, Will Munro, Lachlan Devlin, Dean Henry, Ted Smith, Chad Warland, Lachlan Sweeney, Lachlan McPherson, and Thomas Hathaway at 50th.
Oh, they're pinned there, aren't they? Great shots. Out onto the second lap. We have 5 laps remaining. That first lap was in very, very quickly. Race Monitor giving us an excellent detailed list right through the order. Back to 55th, 56th, 57th. So very, very cool. That is where you lock a lap in. And you can ride this race at your own intensity. You're either out there to win the thing, you're out there to PB, or sometimes you're just out there to actually enjoy the ride and have some fun with it. Elijah Dennis was your number 1 qualifier out of prologue, but it was Riley Mullen that took the lead. Charlie Kirk, Felix Burgess and Ryder Lambing, they were the top 5 from Nate Hargraves and Stella Harding. How about Elijah and Stella? Right up there.
Big time, isn't it? Now, no real pit stops that you would expect
Not
on
the
lap
first
number
lap.
1 unless anything has gone wrong, which is always a massive potential. So unless they've had to pull back in for anything or a goggle malfunction with their roll-off, tear-offs.
Yeah, no tear-offs allowed to actually. You can't drop anything artificial onto the property. Bear in mind, we are on farming property, private land. You can see the Bobcat already just grooming the start
That is
area.
brand new, isn't it?
For the big wheel. Can't say enough about the huge effort that goes into the running of this event. Committee works all year on it, and it is a massive effort by so many people. And those people there on the left with all those vans and pop-up tents and marquees and everything, they make this the essence of what it is. The mums and dads, the families, the nans and pops and aunties and uncles that make this so special, that give the kids a chance to ride their dream shot and compete in the Penrite Hattah Desert Race.
You could really watch all day, just tune into the pit cameras alone, and you wouldn't be bored for a moment when this thing really gets underway.
We're into lap 2 of the small wheels, this 15K course. They will do 6 laps. Benji Brown, Hugo Kinsey, Jack Renfrey and Archie Black, 21st to 24th respectively. Up on the pegs for as much as you can. They teach you in dirt bike riding, stand when you can, sit when you have to. I spent most of my amateur career sitting. You're supposed to stand. Steg pegs, a big part of this, particularly in a senior competition level. Those pegs that just sit back and allow you to rest your legs back on the bike and sort of transfer your weight balance on the bike. You'll see that more in the senior competition side of things. You can see how sandy this area is. You don't get to practice here. You just roll up, you do your look lap, and you try to remember what comes next. Chase Bamford back in 78th. Mitchell Thompson in 79th. Declan Thine, Dylan Poole, Freddie Malloy, Mitch Horwood and Harry Clark. We go out over the top of the lake. Just so cool how we keep so much of this race in our view. We're just trying to find the leaders right now. You can see sweep riders all the time through the middle, just making sure they're keeping an eye on how everybody is going. Currently, Riley Mullen still has that lead, though we'll wait to see what that looks like when we come back. Mullen, Dennis, Kirk, Burgess, Lamming, Hargraves, Harding, Munro, Page, Rickus, Watt and Pollard, your top 12.
About 90 have timed in so far on lap number 1 of the small wheels race. There'll be 6 laps. They should be all but halfway through their second lap now with our leaders, as we're still ticking them through. So officially bike number 90 home on lap number 1 is bike 132, Harrison Davey. And that's a 7-minute, 22-second distance to your leader. Now, given that they get thereabouts of probably a 2-minute buffer, I think, on the leader from the time they launch to these riders at about 90th. So still that bike number 90, the last time in.
Oh.
It could be a goggle change there. Already been an off.
I was going to say that. Never good when you come in with the goggles on the bars like that.
Yep. Visor missing off the helmet, so it's gone head down at some point. Rarely do you choose the Ronnie Mack no peak on the helmet.
Just chasing through our list of riders, the 132. We have pages and pages.
So that was actually Harrison Davey that I was talking about.
There you go. You've done that 3 times today. You're off to a good start. Harrison, the Unforeseen Decals and Gove Real Estate sponsored Husqvarna. Bailey Poole in 41st, Seth Brooks in 42nd, Will Munro, Lockie Devlin 44th, Dean Henry, Riley Robertson 56th, Rolly Lister 57th, Benji Hargy 58th, Charlie Fox Ashwin 59th, Ambrose Fraser 61st. So as you said, Liam, 94 bikes so far have timed in on Race Monitor. Look at that shot right there, pinned. The lake off to the right-hand side. One of the few straight sections. Cool to see Lee and Kylie Adams here, and also Dave Parker, and also Timmy Osmond here as well, legendary motorcycle engine builder. And all right, we think this might be the battle for the lead right here, Liam. I think it might be, as we were looking at it before, Riley Mullen and Eliza Dennis, Charlie Kirk, Felix Burgess, and Ryder Lamming was our top 5 the way we had them. So we think this is our lead trio right here. Good on your work. Nice work, Tex, as usual, keeping us up to date. This thing
So
is
taily, isn't it?
flying. Absolutely pinned here. How's the confidence? Great riding style. Just trying to work out if that is Riley. Can't quite zoom in. Wow, catching lap riders already. Run very, very wide out there. So Tex is doing his best to try and zoom in on the number plate for us so we get some kind of idea. Boy, it's really bunching up here in this top three.
We're about to know. Last couple of corners before the timing loop will get ticked in. So they sweep back past that lake. And our leader, that should be Riley Mullen.
Is that Eliza back in second? That's
Yeah, so he timed in, and I've now got Eliza Dennis showing up on the timing.
So Riley is
second.
Correct. Riley has 10:30.4 as a previous best lap, but you would think that that might improve as this race goes on. Riley has the quickest lap time. Riley Mullen currently doing the job. Here they come to lock back in.
So that's Charlie Kirk that just went through on screen. So Mullen, on
Riley
your camera
there.
now. The all-red gear.
Riley's honking. Absolutely honking. Difference is 3.23 seconds over Eliza. There she is. Got the ponytail. I love the way she was geeing herself up before the race, banging the helmet. So there's nothing in it between the pair of them as they come out of this pit area here. You can see the camera crew, how committed the camera crew running along on foot to keep that shot for us. Nate Hargraves fourth, Felix Burgess and Ryder Lamming now back in sixth. Kobe Munro, Ollie Petch, Stella Harding still ninth, and William Rickus in your top 10.
So Mullen showing that he's the one to beat right now. Dennis is still well and truly in this. They are tucked right in behind each other. There's probably 10 bike lengths as they roll through the pits and then head back out into the lap again. So that is going to be iconic to watch throughout this race. Mullen is backed by Banks Race Development, Next Racing, Mullen Lawyers, John Mullen Building and Concrete, Nanny and Grandpa Shep, Mullen Lawyers, Thor, Gas, Daily Moto and Moto for Life. Bike 118 on the 85cc Gas, and they're straight back into it. And have a look at Eliza Dennis, Wado, tucked right in behind as they head back up and over the hill.
She's not going to give this up.
Not by any means.
Riley is going to have his hands full, that's for sure. What a great battle we're going to see from these guys in small wheel. What a way to kick things off. Icy conditions here this morning, but it is July. It's July.
That's true.
Cool shot of the drone just returning to home base. Up the hill. It's actually a hill. Doesn't look like that from ground level, but it's kind of one of the most raised points. Got to love a bit of encouragement from the side. Bit of Snapchat action, bit of TikTok going on there as well. It's good to see everybody adhering to the rules to make sure you stay at least 6 metres back from the racetrack, Liam.
A massive addition to the 2024 Penrite Hattah Desert Race to ensure spectator safety is the utmost importance at this arena.
Oh, man, what a battle we got going on here. I'm not sure who that was. It just came through just then, but that's a neat little battle. Now, this is where you have to shut right down into that pit area. It's frustrating, but you've got to adhere to that speed limit in the pit area. The drone zooming in. There's a pit stop going on just to the left of us. And we'll go down the access area here.
Yeah, now our 2 leaders definitely did not stop. They rolled right on through. So whether they just be looking at the one stop potentially on the next lap, they might pit, or they can really stretch the program and get as much ground as they can. It's so cool that in a 15K lap, we've still got our 2 leaders absolutely nose to tail. You know, when the laps are so long and we're going to take place over 90 kilometres, this full race distance, to have 2 absolutely getting after it from the very get-go, it's going to be a really exciting race. It tends to happen in the seniors. It stretches out a little bit for the first few laps. That it's only a 10-second buffer, and on screen that doesn't look overly exciting, but in the terms that that's a 4-hour race tomorrow, that the 10-second gap is absolutely nothing. So to be today already in junior small wheels, these two are locked together. Our leaders in Mullen and Dennis, and Kirk wasn't too far behind either. That's a 30-second gap to your leader is Riley Mullen. So last time they came through, Mullen and Dennis was just 3 seconds, and then Charlie Kirk a 33-second gap. Nate Hargraves, Felix Burgess, Ryder Lamming, Kobe Munro, Ollie Petch, Stella Harding, and William Rickus.
We just saw Archie Black aboard the KTM, the Sutto's Power Sports entry, also backed by KTM Australia. And he just dropped in through the pits right now, followed through by the 362. If I go through on our race monitor to find where Archie came in. So that would be the 382 of Tate Williams, Seth Brooks, Bailey Poole, 39th, Cohen Gammond, Ollie Bromble, 41st, Cooper McCulley, 42nd, Lockie Devlin, 43rd, Will Munro, 44th, Dean Henry, 45th, Thomas Hathaway, Chad Warland, Ted Smith, Lockie Sweeney, and Lachlan McPherson, your top 50. Got to watch out for that cameraman when you're running down there. Here you go. Nice pit stop right on our screen for the 619 just coming in right now. I'm just going to spool through our list and find out who we're watching. Just here, the KTM, they drop into the pit trench and back out on track.
Yes, that was Ollie Bromble.
And got the horn going there as well, so a bit of encouragement. Love it. Yeah, Ollie was in and out and gone. Going to be intrigued to see whether Riley still has that neat little buffer. There's not much in it between himself and Eliza Dennis. In comes our 325. Boy, look at the intensity here. When they leave the pits, they got a bit of a breather, and they're back out and after it.
Yeah, no doubt. There's not too many camelbacks in this race either that you've noticed. There are a couple in the top 10, but mostly no camelbacks in this race. So that hydration is going to be super important at pit stops. If you're not running a camelback, to try and breathe for a moment, get a drink of water or Gatorade or whatever they're trying to fuel with, because that is super important. It might seem cold and that you won't be as hot as potential that the Sunraysia region can bring. The work rate is phenomenal.
We're getting close to lap 3. 26 minutes into the race so far. We'll try and find Riley Mullen, Elijah Dennis, Charlie Kirk, Nate Hargraves, and Felix Burgess, your top 10. It's around about 10 minutes a lap at this point. The fastest lap was Riley Mullen, was at 10:3, 10 minutes 30.4. And interesting, Eliza Dennis was 10 minute 30.9. So nothing in it at all. Now, bit of a goggle clean-up going on real quick from the Peter Stevens team. That was brutal. One of the Carbide teams, the 824 of Bodie Brown. The Carbide race team, Peter Stevens, Yamaha Cruise Dune suspension. Got a bit of chiropractic work as well as a goggle clean then.
Slight adjustment.
We'll wait for our leaders to come back into vision here very shortly. Boy, that's a goggle clean he'll remember for some time. We've got the 122 just clearing out from here as well. Bearing in mind, we've got a number of different classes within the class. So we'll endeavour try and decipher who is in which class. There's the outright, and then there's the actual class wins as well. Will McGinty, there's a name you know pretty well, Liam. Back in that 62. William McCallick, Levi Campbell, 73rd. Zach Wilkinson, Cruz Cowan, Seth Hutton, Chase Muldoon, Chase Bamford. And the kids just cruising through. You can just see the trenches off to the right with those nappies that sit there to catch any of the waste. So we check out the 100 bike. Those pink number plates give it away as well as to which class that you're in. That was Nova Pilkington in the girls 7 to under 12 year bracket.
So 95 bikes all up in this junior small wheels division. Harrison Hood was the last of those that we'll expect next on this lap number 2. So Riley Robertson still to come through. Zach Wilkinson, Cruz Cowan, Chase Maul done. Declan Tin, Dylan Poole, Freddie Malloy, Mitchell Horwood, Harry Clark, Carter Branford, Travis Donahue, Riley Boyle, Riley Hood, Asher Wilson, Harrison Davey, Nate Circa, Sophie Middling, Priya Kinsella, Jack Van Hooft, and Harrison Hood still to time in here for lap number 2 officially, and we should be not too far away from our leaders coming back through at about that 10-minute 30 lap time.
Yeah, we're almost halfway there, Liam. 3 laps to go this next time by when they come through for us. Riley has the quickest time, but he and Eliza are in the 10:30s together. Charlie Kirk ran a 10:44 as Charlie's best, about 14 seconds outside the 10:30 mark that Mullen and Dennis have been carving out. And out we head once more. A quick little burst of energy and you're back out there. Just saw the 84 bike just leaving just then as well. So a combination of 65cc, 7 to under 9s. That is the timer off to the left-hand side on your screen, the crawl, but that's from our previous lap. That was the distance between Eliza and Riley Mullen on that previous lap past our timing. So we'll see whether that's closed in at all. Here we go. So this is the leader right now coming through. So Riley Mullen continuing to do the job. And it looks like Riley might have carved out a bit of a difference now. 11 seconds, the difference. So Riley has gotten away to a nice little advantage. Still waiting on Charlie Kirk to come through. So Riley Mullen has really stepped it up. Not better than his previous 10-minute 30 as best, but we have 3 to go. There's your leader. Very comfortable. Hand on the hip. Got this thing absolutely wailing right now. Bit of a look back over at the camera. That camera guy does a phenomenal job. Look at the shadow down the bottom side there. Yeah, very.
How smooth is that shot?
I knew that's what you meant.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a real... That guy is legging it. You would think that'd be the drone shot, but nope. That's the kind of commitment that this team has to our camera shots. Now, there he's pulling in, so this will be interesting. Our first look at a pit stop, and he's like, damn it. Why do I have to get that shot? So we'll try and get him. We're right at the end of the length of the satellite by the looks of things. Riley's gone to maybe get a gel or fresh goggles.
Yeah, it might have been goggles.
Eliza has an 11-second buffer to make up. Lambing a 45-second buffer. Burgess a 50-second buffer. Then Kirk, then Hargraves, then Rickus, then Page, then Munro. Stella Harding still in that top 10, but boy, Riley has really stepped it up in that previous lap, Liam.
Yeah, solid in that one. They rolled out pretty much together, but he gained that 11-second advantage on the last time out. And Eliza Dennis was just on screen, heading back over the hill and into the scrub from Lambing, Burgess, Kirk, Hargraves. So Burgess and Lambing up a couple of spots on Charlie Kirk. So that's a 50-second buffer to the race leader currently in Riley Mullen on bike 118. William Rickus, interestingly, goes quicker than his previous lap that time. So he's starting to settle into the groove. Is bike 115 of William Rickus, usually pretty early.
So that'd be Eliza Dennis on screen right there, quite possibly just about to leave.
Yeah, so it looks like Dennis didn't pit that time if she's made up that much ground.
That's a big call, isn't it? Not to pit. So she's going to have a crack at Riley now, but she's going to have to try and get a break and get clear. So there's obviously a pit strategy here, Liam.
Yeah.
So this is a big call by Eliza to try and make up the difference. But she's going to have to get past him and ideally get about a 10-second buffer or something like that for the pit stop to try and come out even. Boy, it's bottomless already there. Yeah. Look how rutted out that is, that section.
So deep and endless. And Riley's been really good in that section in particular. Just on screen, you can see the gap has lengthened a little. So third is Ryder Lambing on screen. Bike 777. Flight Lambing, a 45-second advantage to Riley Mullen in your race leader. And now it is much less than 11 seconds is the gap between Mullen and Dennis. It would only be thereabouts 2 to 3 seconds. As they left sight halfway through this race, we're at 33 minutes so far. So projecting a little quicker than potentially last year's.
Just thinking, Riley's
time,
really turning that up. It was a 1 minute 13 was the record from last year, or the time taken last year for Levi Rossi. But you would think right now, the way that Riley Mullen is churning out these lap times, this might be taken care of.
Yeah, even if he can stay under the 11 minute per lap mark, it'll be well and truly under.
Just looking through our top 10 to try and find out if any of our different classes with who is where, because as we said, there's a number of classes within the class. So there's the outright, but then there's also the respective classes that we see in these groups. So I'm just looking through to find where Riley Mullen is. Charlie Kirk in the 85cc two-stroke and 150cc four-stroke class, small wheel. KW Earth Moving and Concrete sponsored. When you look through, that's where you find him in his class. And I'm just looking through from our top 10 point of view. Elijah Dennis also on the gas in that 85cc two-stroke and 150cc four-stroke. Banjo Watt in that group as well. And boy, Riley Mullen, it's a huge class, the 9 to under 12s, 85cc two-stroke and four-stroke. And Riley has the class, of course, win and the outright win if he holds on to all this. But Eliza's been giving him some pressure. No doubt about that. Slowing up again to come into that pit area as we just see the 217 of Mitchell Carter just making his way out of his pit. Cooper McMully, 42nd. So the lead was out to an 11.8 second lap. Now, bearing in mind, that was when they came through on the timing, past the timing hut before. So we know that Eliza got it down a lot lower to that. Stella Harding in 12th now. Angus Summers in 13th. Shelley Rutherford in 22nd. Hamish Finch, Jack Renfrey, Hugo Kinsey, Elijah Newton, Zach Kellett, Van Neuschiffer, Bentley Clark in 32nd. Felix Brooker in 33rd. Archie Black, we saw Archie before. Nikolai Marchant, 35th. Thomas Hathaway, 46th. Chad Warland, those guys still waiting to come through to record their lap. So Bodie Austin with a 12.07. Riley has not gotten down to his previous 10.30 and 10.30.9. Mind you, that might be their first laps as well.
Yeah, you would definitely think, in the way that just these shots of the track alone, that is going to be brutal if he's going to get anywhere near those original couple of laps. So it is going to be tough from
William Rickus,
though. Yeah, that's phenomenal, that.
Just recorded his quickest, 11.01.5. So that's good news.
He actually gained like 20 seconds on the bike ahead of him, which was Nate Hargraves, who did an 11.17 for 6th position. So he made up 16 seconds in that lap. And projecting at that, if he can maintain that 11-minute flat pretty well, that's quick enough for 3rd and 4th right now on track.
Look at this little battle pack going on here. This is what you live for. You're looking around, you're seeing your mates. It makes you go just that little bit harder. And it's good when you get to race with someone too. Events this size, when a lap is 15 Ks a lap, Liam, sometimes you don't get a chance to race with anybody else. Kick it, son, kick it. The 6.05 about to leave the pit just then.
Yeah, that was Cooper McCulley at 41st in the order. Thanks to all of our wonderful sponsors on board with the live stream again. Of course,
mate wasn't asleep then, was he? Did you see that shot just then in the pits? Looked like he had his feet in the.
It's been a long morning.
In the trench, he looked like he was asleep. Maybe it's one of those dads that just catching a few Zeds. Three laps to go. Boy, it's rutted out pretty fiercely just then too, and those braking bumps that go past the timing caravan.
We've seen so many put them into those hay bales at the end of the race.
Yeah, just about means you're pushing all the way. Shannon Boyler just giving them the slow down signal just then.
And there is actually that digital speed limiter as well at the end of that first pitch straight away, the big yellow board to let you know what speed you are doing, because there is no way to know on any of these bikes what speed you are actually doing without that. So there's that 25k pit speed limit. And of course, a very different setup today to tomorrow in the senior events. We'll have senior prologue and the shootout as well today. But then tomorrow, they'll actually race through the pits, as our interview with Jack Simpson earlier was entailing, that those transition lanes, when you get into the pits, there's the fast lane.
There's
you can
Hargy.
still race through.
Old Hags cruising through. Big thanks to Monahan Logistics as well. Lewis Monahan was a star at Fink.
Wasn't he? Absolutely wrapped up his class.
Dominated the 250s. That was a big ride. It was pretty handy in Speedway motorcycles as well, and Junior Speedway, and I thought, here we go. Monas is on his way to go to Europe, and he just upped and went, nope, you know what? I'm going to ride desert racing. He's doing a great job. Ollie Bromble is 42nd, Lockie Devlin 43rd, Will Munro 44th, Thomas Hathaway 45th. Hargy, we just saw Benji Hargy just go through the pits just before in 52nd position. Will McGinty 62nd, Brax Buntsma 63rd, Jack Rust 64th, Jimmy Begbie 65th, Reese Thompson, Jack Derwent, Nova Pilkington. And we would be pretty soon seeing our leaders come back into the distance here shortly. So we're getting a bit of a look at the race leader. We think this might be Riley's just been dominant since this race began. The body language looks good. Up over the handlebars, over the front cross base, right on that lower groove just then. And Riley has been a force so far. Eliza has certainly taken it to him, but I don't think we saw Eliza do a pit stop before. So, whoa, man, he was right to the ragged edge of that lap just then. Extreme outside. Here comes your leader to put one through. Interesting last lap, of course, you had a pit stop in as well. It was an 11:34 compared to his best 10:30. So here's your leader. It'll be interesting to try and find Elijah and see what happens with her pit stop at this point. So down pit lane we come. It's 11.6 is the difference. So once again, Riley was able to just extend that lead. What a ride it's been so far. Bit of a look back. Very casual. Knows he's got the speed. Aboard the gas. The Banks Race Development Next Racing, Mullen Lawyers and John Mullen Building and Concrete. And also Nana and Grandpa Shep on board. Mullen Lawyers, Thor, Gas, Daily Moto and Moto for Life. And there is Eliza. Aboard the 265, you would have to think a pit stop is coming here. Our camera crew right there might be just to the very end of our limit when it comes to the sneakers and also the satellite. So we'll take it from Tex instead. Good work. Now, I'm just wondering, is she pitted or not pitted again? Let's just see if she does, if she pits here at all. I don't think she's going to. We're not sure whether Eliza has already pitted or not. You'd have to think she would have, Liam, I would think. But there's no way of proving that. We
that's right.
100% see that. But maybe she
very
was
efficient on the stop.
very committed to it. She knows that she really can't afford to do anything but just go after it because Riley has this race absolutely in his keeping. Look how casually he is. Left hand on the hip. He'll ride out past this point here and just wick it up. Away goes Riley Mullen again. There's 2 laps to go. This has been a dominant performance from Riley. We'll have a look and see where the 265 of Elijah Dennis is next. Felix Burgess in 3rd. Charlie Kirk up to 4th. Ryder Lambing in 5th. Nate Hargraves in 6th. And if I look at our timing, it should say William Rickus with 11:01 at best time. Brax Pollard, Ollie Peach, Stella Harding still 9th. Angus Summers, Zach Mays, Cody Munro, Bodie Bennett, and Banjo Watt. Your top 10. We have about a lap and 3/4 to go.
Now, of course, lap time's up now to about 11 minutes, 30 seconds, but even at that trajectory, should shoot well and truly under last year's winner time. That was 1 hour, 13 minutes, and we're only 45 minutes into this with 2 laps remaining for Riley Mullen and Eliza Dennis. Now, he could still run easily a 13-minute lap these last couple and still shoot in underneath that. So, quick pace set early by Mullen and Dennis, who's been right there the whole time. Eliza Dennis was actually quicker last lap as well than Riley Mullen. So Eliza did a 11 minutes 33 and Mullen was at 11 minutes 34. So she's right there with him.
Yeah, that
little bit of track position.
The best lap is their first lap because they start and just go straight out to the course. They don't have that whole pit loop that they have to do, which slows them up considerably. There is Westbrook on the 8:08, just going through as well. Just going to have a look at where Westy is. Finn is in 17th right now on the racetrack. Best time of 11 minutes 34. Finn is just ahead of Caleb Gurry, Ollie Kale and Chili Rutherford in that 20 battle. Finn's trying to run down Ryder Plum, who has an 11:25 to Ryder's name. Banjo Watt has an 11:18. Kobe Munro has an 11:07, and the best time of Bodie Bennett is an 11:15.1. So certainly towards the business end of the first race of the day. And we have Big Wheel to come after this for the juniors. Followed by Seniors Prologue. 1,000 riders, it'll seem like. Track is certainly rutted out pretty fiercely. Don't forget the seniors do a longer course again. Big Wheels will do a 22-kilometre course. Out comes the 330 back out onto the racetrack. Wicks it straight up. These kids are just so relentless. They just love it. They get over your fear a lot quicker when you start off so young, but they just don't seem to have any fear, and they seem to just have so much energy on the tap.
So still riders are timing in their fastest laps of the race on lap 3 and 4, which is really remarkable. A couple of those, Archie Black went quicker just then on his 4th lap, and Cohen Gammond as well. So that'd be really incredible if riders can continue to do that, given the way that the track conditions do start to go away, and you get in those deeper ruts, the deeper sand, they're going to slow you up significantly. That doesn't count pit stops as well.
Look at the water. Sun shimmering off the lake on the left-hand side just there. Always sweep riders as well. That's one thing that's very cool about this. A big, big field of sweeper riders that just ride around the course, keeping an eye on people and making sure that everyone's okay. So if someone goes down, there's an immediate contact to medics and things like that. So Yeah, super cool that we have so many riders out around the course just making sure these kids are okay. In comes the 813, just locking in the lap. Like you said, Archie, just Tate Williams too, 12:15.4, Tate's best lap.
There's a bunch of them doing it now.
Yeah.
Settling into the groove, potentially the early nerves of not knowing what corner's coming up next or what's sweeping straight away through those rolling planes.
Or they just start to get better at the lap, you know. Sometimes you just get better at attacking a corner, you get a bit more confidence, so you have a different approach to it. Not long until we have one lap to go for your race leader, Riley Mullen. It's been good to watch that battle. Elijah's been close, but just not close enough to really put the pressure on. I'd say that Riley's team are letting him know just how close she is, but he hasn't had to sort of look over and see her right there. A couple of kids getting ready for one of the pit stops.
So here's how it works. I ask you, then I tell you, and then I deal with it, right? Don't get to the third point. So I've asked you, please don't move any vehicles, all right? Yeah.
Back on our drone shots as they come back to the pit area right now. As Liam said earlier on, we had like in the mid-90s, 95 riders in your small wheel. Spectators getting around enjoying the sunshine, but it's an optical illusion because the breeze is just chilly. Pretty soon we'll be getting a glimpse, I think, of Riley Mullen coming back into view. Still Stella Harding inside the top 10. How good's that? Two girls inside the top 10. And see Cruz just waiting to get their rider to come back into view. But it must be a lonely 10 or 11 or 12 minutes for families too, because the kid leaves the pits and then you have to wait 11 or 12 minutes. Not like motocross where you can see pretty well most of the lap. Certainly in Speedway, it's all played out in front of you, but you have to wait 11 or 12 minutes until you see your pride and joy come back into view. You look at all the multiple grooves right there. Not so much if you get to that part of the racetrack, you're in all sorts of trouble.
Yeah, things are going pretty badly.
Still plenty of moist track conditions back there. It's kind of remarkable the difference in the dusty conditions we saw earlier this morning at some parts of the racetrack. A couple of these kids you would think are on their last year of small wheel, Liam.
Yeah, well and truly. That age bracket separating them. So you can still have 13 to under 16s in small wheel as well as big wheel. So
that looks like our leader. I'm just going to guess. Is that Riley? I think it is.
It's a massive closing speed, wasn't there?
Riley's just been outstanding. Look at that, squeezing around the outside of the lap rider, owning it. Need to see if we've got our remote mic and whether we pull our winner into our Penrite victory lane as well. The first time that we've had that situation today. So we'll check in with Toph shortly as to whether we're able to do that. Whether we plonk him straight into our commentary seat or whether we do it in our presentation area here to the left of us. But we'll work that out in the next lap and a half. Boy, it's rutted out fiercely through there. That margin would have to blown out, I would thought, right now.
Boy, he looks good.
He does, doesn't he? Very comfortable. Coming up to lock in the last lap, Liam, that's for sure.
He's pinned right to the very end of the lap. Sneaks right out by the hay bales, and he'll get the last lap board. No look over his shoulder. I think he knows that he's pretty well in control of this as Riley Mullen. Can breathe with the one hand, shakes his clutch hand. and can warm up now in the pits. Take some time to breathe. And will he pit here on the last lap or not? So we'll follow along again with the first-person view drone. And watch as Riley will take his first turn through the pits. Now, just ahead of him there is the speed limit sign. Gets the green, the happy face, says he's going slow enough. He's got enough time to be looking in other people's pit bays as well, which is remarkable. So that's race leader. Riley Mullen, bike 118 for the last time through the pit. And that is his pit area directly ahead, so we'll know very shortly whether he's going to pit at all on the final lap or not. And looks like at this point that he won't be. And there's Eliza, very close behind. So she gets given the rag to wipe the goggles. Have a bit of a fresh look at the last lap, so she is still well and truly there. It was 18 seconds the margin on their last lap. Mullen in clear control, but Eliza Dennis can still see him, importantly. And that would play majorly into your headspace as you head towards the last lap.
Sometimes that's just frustrating, though. So 1 lap to go. Riley Mullen, well and truly in control. From Eliza Dennis, Charlie Kirk. We haven't seen much of Charlie, but Charlie's been doing an epic job in that 3rd position. Ryder Lamming in 4th. Felix Burgess in 5th. 6th is Nate Hargraves. We can go back to
William Rickus.
Yeah, William Rickus. Then Brax Pollard, Ollie Page. Then Stella Harding, Angus Summers, Zach Mays, Kobe Munro, Bodie Bennett, Banjo Watt, Ryder Plum, Finn Westbrook, Caleb Gurry, and Ollie Kale. It's around about your top 19 or 20 as we move into the final lap here for Small Wheel.
So all of the top 10 into their final lap now. They'll see the last lap board just here by the timing stripe. So 11 bikes so far locked into their last lap. Zach Mays, Kobe Munro.
Stella Harding's outside the top 10 for the first time in this race. She's in 11th. Mays, Munro, Bennett, White, Plum, Westbrook, Gurry, Kale, and Rutherford. Your top 20. Boy, some of these kids make these small wheels look very small. So they're on their final go around on the small wheels. So less than a lap to go for your leader. Eliza Dennis was the number 1 rider after prologue. She was relieved of that number 1 position rather quickly by Riley. It's been a fantastic battle to watch play out between the pair of them. But really, it hasn't got much closer than that. Sort of initially, it was 3 seconds, and it blew out to 10, and it's been consistently around that 11, and then now it's out to 18. So Riley has been weapon fast and weapon consistent.
Yeah, man to beat, no doubt about that. Little Riley Mullen, a star at arena cross level as well. And now looking to wrap up.
Gee, a lot of personal bests coming in this last lap. A lot of kids really stepping it up.
It's incredible that Riley's nearly a minute a lap slower than his first lap was. And then some of the other riders that are picking up time still as this race gets on.
Well, bearing in mind, too, they all started quite late in that area when they fired off. But consistency has been the key for Riley. No doubt about that. Very soon he'll be coming by, and we'll be endeavouring to get him into the presentation area, which is going to be a bit of a corralling situation.
Yeah, it always is.
Well, they're a little bit further away than they have been before, Liam, so this will be an interesting little ride through into our Penrite victory lane. Stella Harding, 11th. Haven't been looking at the overall time for the event. 49. This is going to be way under.
Yeah, no doubt.
Way
it's
under.
About 58 minutes thereabouts as it just refreshed. So even if he just started the lap now, he should still be safe. So yeah, just on the hour.
Yeah, right. So 58 minutes. And we were looking back, I think was it 1 hour 13 from last year for Levi? Yeah, 1 hour 13:35 from last year for Levi Rossi. So this is going to come in substantially quicker.
Should be just under the 110, you would be thinking. So may pick up a couple of minutes. I mean, there's a big final lap still to play out. So much can happen on this 15-kilometre loop for the junior small wheels.
Then we've got big wheels to come with their 22K loops. And then we'll get into hundreds and hundreds of seniors, but at least in a numerical order.
Yeah, it starts to make a little bit of sense at that point.
8:45, just riding through just then. Still getting told by the officials, slow down as they get to that pit area. It's actually quite nice in the sun. Just the wind chill factor is wicked.
Yeah, it's cutthroat. Still the happy green riding on the speed limiter at the end of the pit straight away.
Oh, you get the happy green, do you?
Yeah, happy green.
A bit like the OTR sort of.
Yeah, how are you feeling? How was your experience in pit lane?
Oh, yeah, nice. There you go. Race is almost wrapped up. And Riley Mullen has certainly been the form guide here, that's for sure. And the first race of the weekend is nearly locked away. Elijah Dennis in second. It's out to an 18-second margin, but mind you, that was on the previous scoring. There's no segments or sectors that we're able to see here, so it just gives us an idea of the margin when they come by the timing van. Ollie Kale, 21st. Caleb Gurry, 22nd. Hamish Finch, 23rd. Zach Kellett. Elijah Newton. Jack Renfrey. Bodie Austin. Felix Brooker. That's around the 22nd to 28th position. I think our winner is closing in here. What an amazing... Hello, Jonathan. He's bringing our coffees.
Yeah.
I saw you with that before. It was an empty coffee cup. I'm like, how can you do that to me, contract? Yeah. So what a ride it's been. Just an unstoppable force has been Riley Mullen. Gotten better as this one has gone on. Elijah has certainly given him plenty to think about. Charlie Kirk still in third. Lamming in fourth. Burgess in fifth. Hargraves, Rickus, Patch, Pollard, Summers. That's your top 10. Stella Harding just outside that top 10. In 11th, Kobe Munro, Zach Mays, Bodie Bennett, Ryder Plum, Banjo Watt, Finn Westbrook, Hutto Wilson, Chili Rutherford, and Benji Brown. That's your top 20.
Been a fascinating watch for junior small wheels as Riley Mullen looks to wrap up the 2024 crown for the Penrite Hattah Desert Race.
First winner for the weekend. What a way to do it too. Just superb ride.
Should be not far away from home at all. It's been a really good watch from an Eliza Dennis point of view as well. They played the long game in their pit strategy and it kept her in the race for a great portion of this. Mullen was a little slower in their pit stops and did more of them. And Eliza Dennis was able to just knuckle down and keep getting through without stopping, which brought her back into the race multiple times. So final lap for Riley Mullen, who we await to come into screen. Just over the hour. Ticking by as it will reset. So we're at an hour and 4 minutes so far. And last year's winner, well documented, was Levi Rossi, did an hour 13 minutes. So at this point, should well and truly shoot in under that time and take out quite a few minutes with it as well.
Here he comes. Here he comes. This is your race leader, Riley Mullen. What a performance. Just looked like he could go another 10 laps. Tremendous ride, and he's absolutely pumped, as well he would be. Great job, Riley Mullen. Just seemed to have most of the race with his left hand on his hip. He was that casual. So waiting on Elijah to come through. Here comes Elijah Dennis. Tremendous ride from her. She will pick up second place. Great job for Eliza. Looks like she absolutely was giving that her all. What an impressive young lady she is. Now we're just waiting to see who picks up third. Will it be Charlie Kirk? These two having a quick little chat. I wouldn't mind a drink, I think is what she just said then. Had a pretty grubby little face in there. Just like, give me a drink, quick. And there is our third place rider. It is Charlie Kirk. Mum comes in, gets the gas helmet cleaned up a little bit. Gosh, they're tough, these kids, aren't they? What a ride for Riley. What a job by Elijah, and well done, Charlie Kirk. They'll be in our Penrite victory lane here in just a moment. Johnny Contract down there along with Shannon Moyler. And a couple of the laps to go. That'll blow your mind. So 3 very fast kids. And the pointy end of today's field. Ryder Lamming will pick up 4th place. 5th is Felix Burgess. 6th is Nate Hargrave. 7th, William Rickus. Ollie Petch coming through with the fastest last lap. 11.07. Brax Pollard, Angus Summers, Stella Harding and Kobe Munro. Your top 12. Just watching the top 10 or 12 just coming through. And in a moment, we'll go down to Johnny Contract, who's going to be in Penrite victory lane with our top 3.
So Checkers obviously waving in our junior small wheels program. Riley Mullen taking the big victory on bike 118 as our podium getters get gathered in the Penrite, Australian owned and trusted since 1926 marquee. And we get ready to have a chat. Johnny Contract. We'll have a chat first of all with our third place getter in Charlie Kirk. He was on bike 647 and we're just moments away. We'll head down to Johnny Contract, who has Charlie Kirk third in the Junior Small Wheels program.
Well, we're sitting down here in the Penrite tent with a great opportunity to talk to all of our place getters that run through the day today. First cab off the rank. It is the team of people that have done such a great job at the front of the field in our junior small wheel classes here for Hattah 24. And the first guy we need to talk to is Charlie Kirk. Charlie, great ride today. Well done, buddy.
Thanks.
Charlie, you hail from where?
Sanana, Victoria.
So a Victorian who's come up from a couple of hours down, a little further down into Victoria to come up, mate. For Hattah for you, great campaign this year.
Yeah.
Charlie, more importantly, I suppose, is that you had a ton of people come with you to help you out. Obviously, there's a group of people you'd like to thank for the placing today.
Yep. Mum, Dad, Poppy, Douglas Hire, Precise Farm Solutions, Active Waste Disposal, Sananad, all the people who put in the work to make this event possible, and all the boys for the competition.
Good on you, Charlie. Well done. So from here, you get a chance to rest up and watch some of the fast guys tomorrow as well.
Yeah.
Good on you, mate. Thank you so much for coming down and supporting the Penrite Oils Hattah Desert Race here this weekend. And I know you're going home with some goodies and some trophies, which is going to make you pretty happy. So that means you come back next year and look for the front plate, the number one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good on you, buddy. Well done. Charlie Kirk, ladies and gents, our third place rider here this weekend. And very shortly we'll get a chance to talk to Eliza Dennis, who'll be with us shortly as well. We'll be with you in a moment.
Great chat with Johnny Contract and Charlie Kirk, third place getter in the Junior Small Wheels division. Our first race completed of the weekend. As now our second place. We'll get locked into the booth with Johnny. Will be Eliza Dennis, who was in this race with Riley Mullen from the very get-go. She was our fastest qualifier in prologue. She was the first bike to leave the start line, and she'll have a quick chat to Johnny Contract in just a moment. We'll head down to the Penrite tent.
Rightio, down here now with our second place earner or rider this weekend. And what an amazing story to have her here with us. I talk of none other than Eliza Dennis. Eliza, well done.
Thank you.
Mate, what a ride. You took it to the guys and you just rode to the point where you almost had him, but you know what? It is what it is. Second's a good place to be in, right?
Yeah, my goal this weekend was to get top 3 and I achieved it, but I was going after first, but it just got too gnarly, so I just sat where I was and I was happy.
Eliza, it's a cool track out there, isn't it? Like, it is just so cool to be riding down here at Hattah, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so fun. Like, it's a fun event.
Eliza, would it be safe to say that this is one of your favourite events?
Yes, definitely.
How cool is it to come down here, though, and race against all the guys and the girls and stuff? You know, like it's one of those events that's just almost like it draws you back time and time again, doesn't it?
Yeah, this is my 4th time, so I've been here a lot. So, yeah, I'm getting used to it, and I'm going to come here every year.
Eliza, there's a number of people that have helped you to get to where you've gotten to today, so I'm sure you've got a list that's quite long, yeah?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Gas Australia, Clouds Racing Accessories, Fly Racing, Froth Global, Beaton's Pro Formula, Choice Suspension, and Mum and Dad.
Eliza, that means now that second, there's only one more step to take, isn't it?
Yeah, I've got to get first next year.
So I'm just going to ask you, you're coming back next year because you want that one, don't you?
Yeah, I'll be in the big wheel class next year, so hopefully that will be fun, so yeah.
Let's see how you go with that. And where are you from again?
Wagga Wagga.
Wagga Wagga in New South Wales. What an amazing journey. I'm sure you're going home and making the Gas guys pretty happy this weekend, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
Rightio. Well, time for a lemonade or something for you and celebrate with the team tonight, hey? Well done, and thank you for coming down and supporting the 24 Hattah Desert Race, proudly brought to us by the team at Penrite.
Thank you.
Well done. Round of applause for her, hey?
A big
Shortly we'll talk to our winner
congratulations.
this weekend as well, and that'll be Riley Mullen.
Well done, Eliza Dennis wraps up second place in the junior small wheels division. The family and the Gas team behind her are absolutely stoked with that result, and so they should be. A stellar ride and fastest in prologue as well. As we'll gather our race winner to have a chat with Johnny as well in a couple of moments' time. That will, of course, be Riley Mullen. Finishes a spectacular first main event race of the weekend here at the Penrite 2024 Hattah Desert Race. He gets the microphone clipped on and he'll have a quick word with Johnny Contract before we kickstart this interview down there in the Penrite, Australian owned and trusted since 1926 tent. We are good to go with Johnny, who has our race winner of junior small wheels in Riley
We're
Mullen.
down here now with the number one rider for the weekend in our small wheels class for Hattah 24, and that, of course, is none other than Riley Mullen. Hey, Riley, great to have you here this weekend.
Yeah, thank you.
Mate, what an awesome ride, mate. You got out there, you got a good run out of the gate, got away nice and tight, rode a pretty solid track. They tell me gnarly, yeah?
Yeah, it was really gnarly. It's starting to get really sketchy and square edge.
Mate, for you, this is not your first Hattah appearance?
Yes, it's my third.
And, of course, you love the event as much as any other event, but what's really cool about Hattah for you?
Hanging off the back and holding it 6 pinned.
There you go, sick pin, mate. That is awesome. Hey, number one in the class, that's got to be a great thing for you. Coming back next year to defend that one?
Yeah, I'll try to. Yeah, I'm wrapped with the win.
And, of course, you hail out of where?
Strathalbyn.
Wow, Strathalbyn, right. So how many years you been hanging on the back of a bike for, buddy?
5? Yeah, something around there.
Good on you. Well, mate, you've certainly done well today. In our junior small wheels class, you get to take the number one ranking. So that's pretty cool. Time to celebrate with the team and the like. Who do you want to thank in your backyard, camp, whatever you want to call it?
Banks Race Development, Pedolene, Thor, and everyone else that helps me out. Thank you so much.
And also a big thank you to the team at Penrite for getting involved with the sponsorship to the event here this weekend as well. And, of course, the Northwest Victoria Motorcycle Club. Is this one of your favourite events?
Yes, definitely.
Mate, I love it when you tell me that, because that just means you keep coming back time and time again. Would love to see you move through from juniors into seniors and follow your progression. So well done.
Yeah, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Riley Mullen took the number one plate in the junior small wheel class today. Whoop it up, mate. Come on, let's whoop it up. Yay! Back to the guys in the main commentary area, Wade and Liam.
How good is that? Our top three from junior small wheels. The first race of the weekend officially done. It was 6 laps, 15 kilometres per lap, with Riley Mullen taking the number one honours. Here's a quick look back at how it all went down. Eliza Dennis was your number one out of prologue before Riley Mullen took control of the race lead on lap number 1. But boy, Dennis was not going anywhere. That was her riding shot behind Mullen. They ran a much longer pit strategy and always snuck themselves right back into this race. It was always Mullen ahead, but boy, Eliza Dennis gave herself plenty to think about because she was always there, and those longer pit strategies brought her right back into the mix. Riley Mullen slowly but surely worked his way further out in the lead, and Charlie Kirk was ever present in third place as well. But really, this entire race, Wade Ornger, was Riley Mullen's to win. He was super strong in that opening lap. Eliza Dennis was always there, but it never really looked like Riley Mullen was going to give up that top spot.
Great chats with Johnny Contract just then as well, and we're going to have Brett Metcalf in a little bit later on to chat with us, along with Glenn Bell as well. We've been seeing Lee Adams go backwards and forwards in front of us as well. And, yeah, what an impressive pair. Riley in particular, but Elijah as well. So enthusiastic, and look at that. He's absolutely amped. What a ride. Elijah reminds me a little bit of Maddie Healy, I had a chance to catch up with Maddie out at Deakin Motorcycles on the Thursday night, and she's very well spoken, a lot like Emma Milicevic as well. I think women's desert racing is in a very, very good place, and Maddie Healy is going to be very, very good to watch here this weekend. I'm sure whether Toph can dial up our chat with Maddie Healy the other night. We'll catch up with her and talk more on the other side of this. Maddie, it's wonderful to have you back here in beautiful Mildura. You're a Sheppo girl, so you know this isn't cold, right?
Nah, this is perfect weather.
It's July.
Yeah. No, the sun's shining, so yeah, it's been awesome.
How has your year been?
Yeah, I had a really good start. I raced the, desert race and actually come away with the win with that one and 53rd outright, I'm pretty sure.
Nice.
So, in the boys, so that was pretty good. Yeah, and then
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Let's not gloss over that.
Nah, so yeah, hopefully next year you can do a bit better. But yeah, and then with the Prom X Nationals, I've been sitting in 4th with that one, or 5th maybe now. But yeah, it's been pretty good. So looking forward to Hattah this weekend and can't wait.
Where has this culture come from, this passion for motocross, outdoors, desert racing, all that for you on two wheels? Where's it come from?
Well, my dad actually started just racing pretty much. I've been racing since I was 6. I started riding when I was 4. So my two older brothers started riding, and then I just thought I'd come with them, and yeah, just started the love for it. And we come up here, I think when I was 9 was my first, I think that was the youngest you could race. That was my first year, and I've only missed 1 year since. So yeah, the love for Hattah is awesome.
Why?
Oh, it's just the atmosphere, the whole race, the desert racing. It's just so much fun. It's a lot more laid back, and yeah, just the atmosphere. It's crazy. Like, just to express how much fun we have with that. It's awesome.
There's always comparisons between Fink and Hattah, although they're two totally different animals, and you're very well versed to explain that.
Yeah.
What's different?
Probably more like the speed, and you're kind of out on your own with Fink, where you're just going there and you're back, and obviously the team's involved, that's all. But then with Hattah, it's a lot more mental game plan. You have your teams involved too, like, you have your dad on your jerry or your mechanic. So yeah, it's a lot more, and like Hattah's probably a lot more mental going into the last couple laps. So it's just trying to get there, where Hattah, with Fink, it's probably the last on the way back, the last couple Ks, like that's where you're like mentally driven to get there, which is the speed as well. So yeah, that's probably the differences, but the speeds and the roughness is probably still all the same. And you can't pre-ride Hattah. That's one really big difference. So how do you feel about that as a rider? Yeah, well, you can always get sort of tracks similar, but it's completely, you can't get the exact same. So yeah, I feel comfortable like seeing I have great tracks around me that I can train on. But yeah, it's fine. You know what it's sort of, after doing all these years, you know what it kind of turns out to be like. So yeah. Maddie, as little 6-year-old Maddie who first got onto a dirt bike, did you immediately think, this is special, I want to do this, or did it just become something you gradually got more obsessed with? Yeah, I think it was more like to impress the family. That was how it started. Like, I wanted to, Dad's always like, if you can lift that, you can ride it. So it was always like, I just wanted to be like the boys, and that's sort of how it started. And yeah, it was just, as it went on, it's always been to, keep doing better. So yeah. Have any of the Healy boys won Fink, by the way? No, I don't think so. I think my brother Brock Healy is in the junior side. He's outrided it fairly well, I think, but he's actually racing it as well this year, so it'd be great to see how he comes, and hopefully I beat him, which I should have it covered. But yeah, so yeah, and my other brother Levi, he's just a mechanic for me this weekend, so it'd be great to see. How cool is that? Yeah, family's really tight, so it's awesome. All right, what are your ambitions for this year and beyond? What's the bigger plan for you? Obviously I want to get into more desert racing, so just to get better at that, and hopefully I can get a title with Hattah. That'd be awesome, and then get better at Fink as well, and then hopefully that can get me overseas and just see how I go with that stuff. So the win certainly in the ladies class, but then in outright, where are you aiming? Yeah, I want to be top 50. That's the goal, and then just see how it goes. It's a long race, so anything can happen, and if I'm top 50 or around that, I'll be happy.
Sometimes buying automotive lubricants can be a bit of a nightmare. You're standing in your automotive retailer and there's the lubricants wall, right? Full of lubricants. What do I want to do? This fantastic Penrite product selection app. Now you can access this on your iPad, your computer, or your phone. You can simply select your vehicle. You can do it by rego search and it'll tell you the lubricants that you need for your vehicle. Not only will it do that, it'll give you quantities, it'll give you options and alternatives if your stockist doesn't have the specific lubricant you need. Even better still, it'll give you lubricants for your engine, your gearbox, transmission, diff, power steering, brake, coolant, you name it. Now you tell me it could be any easier than that.
Rightio, big wheels, guys. If you can start heading out onto the. Hang on, sorry, guys. Righto, guys, get your riding gear and get this ready, fueled up, ready to go. Wait until I tell you to start moving. Still got a couple more juniors to come. If you can just sit tight and wait. Make sure you fuel with your safety gear, everything ready to roll, and just park until I give you the okay, alright? So just sit tight until I give you the okay, guys. Just got to wait for our sweet bikes to come back and then I'll let you go. Otherwise, just sit tight, guys. Make